If you have an old car without a smart head unit, or you're like me and you purchase a car that doesn't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, then this is the perfect solution for you. This is the Carpuride W903, comes in at $269.99, and we're going to get this installed. So inside of the box, we actually have a 9.3-inch IPS sensitive touchscreen display. This is our main head unit. We've also got our power cable. This is our 12-volt cigarette lighter socket. It's also USB-C, which is what this screen takes to power. We've also got one of the mounting units. I'll probably end up using this one. It's got a double-sided tape on the bottom, so you can just stick it up the top of your dash. We've also got our auxiliary cable. That's for connecting the monitor to the actual head unit itself, so you can play music through your car speakers. This mount here is for screwing into a particular surface, then you can mount it onto that. We also have our reversing camera. Don't think I'm going to be using that at the moment because I already have one built in, but I could wire this up to be an in-cabin camera if I really wanted to. And we have our secondary mount. This is a suction cup which actually goes onto the other mount that you screw into the car. Last but not least, we can't forget about the manual, which we are going to forget about now. So around the side, we've actually got our 3.5mm audio jack. That's what you'd use to connect the auxiliary to the radio. We've also got our SD card slot. Then we have our rear camera input in case we want to run a rear camera. I'm not going to be setting that up today, but we also have our power, which is USB Type-C. Now on the back here, we also have our reset. Then we have two 8-watt speakers built in. We also have this little handy dash cam here, which you can use as an in-cabin or view the road from the front, but we'll touch more on that later. So I'm glad that it is a non-destructive installation. We've got it installed, just use the double-sided tape that came with it. And now we're gonna see how long it actually takes to fire something like this up once we start the car. So I'll turn the accessories on.
Recording, 3 channels started.
Actually not too bad. That actually fired up pretty quick. Not bad. So the Carpuride W903, it actually uses Bluetooth 5.0, and that's why it reduces latency and it's able to load up super quick. And you can see it starts recording automatically as well. You can see right here with the red light. So that's pretty cool. So with the Carpuride, we can access all features using Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, such as making calls. It's got voice assistants such as Siri and Google. Okay, Google. Call Amelia.
Got it. Calling Amelia Hart.
Hello?
Hello? Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Hey, not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
We could also have online navigation. We could play music. Okay, Google. Take me to the nearest Bunnings.
Navigating to Bunnings Port Stevens.
So it's got a lot of features that you can add to a car that actually doesn't have this sort of smart stereo system. It's awesome. So it is a 9.3-inch high sensitivity touchscreen. So it's very responsive. You can see we go Android Auto. It's very reactive. We've got the home button here. We do have CarPlay, Android Auto, AirPlay, Android Cast. And bring this 9-year-old PC back to life. Let's dive into the chaos. So the Android Cast feature is actually part of the reason why we went for a separate screen. You can actually get different devices that do get Android Auto into the different screen, but with a separate screen, Amelia can watch some videos if she likes while I'm driving and I still have access to maps and things. So I thought it was a pretty neat feature and we're going to try it out for a bit and see how we like it. You do Wi-Fi video, audio output, got playback, so that would be for our camera footage. If you go into video, you can see we've got stuff here. There's our first video and we've got a few more. Then of course we've got our settings up here. So we can have screensaver. You can choose left or right hand drive depending on where you're from. You could also do a split screen mode. So you can actually choose between these two when you're in Android Auto. So you can actually have your camera playing while you have maps going, but I'm gonna leave it in full screen mode because that's gonna give me the biggest view of Google Maps. Now, if we go into brightness here, this is a really cool thing about this system. So in brightness, it's actually got an auto mode. It automatically detects what the daylight time is and it will adjust the brightness according to that. or you can obviously always manually do it, slide it up and down. But I'm just gonna leave it on auto. It just makes life so much easier. And then I can concentrate on the road and it does the work for me. Then of course we have our assistive touch settings. Up to you if you want that on or off. Now, if we go into the camera tab, we've got our camera format. So if we go into there, we can select 1080p, 720p, you've got N and P. I'm just gonna leave it on 1080p. You got the record resolution. So you can go all the way up to 4K. I'm just gonna leave it at 1080p for now. I think it's a good balance between storage, file sizes, and clear video. Now you've got collision sensitivity. At the moment, I've got it on middle. It's up to you if you want it on high. I think I may actually set it to high, so if there is a collision and it senses it, it can record. We do have our microphone. We can turn it on or off. This is for like when you're taking phone calls and things like that. Then of course you've got reverse line calibration. That'll come in handy when you're using your reverse camera. Now if we go into system, there's a bunch of languages in here, so it's up to you to select whatever you want. Of course we're going with English. Tip sound, so you can actually turn this off if you hate the sound when you're actually clicking things. So we've just turned it off there. You can set the date and time in here. I haven't done that yet, but I will get onto that. This is just the storage info. So we've got a 60 gigabyte card inside. You can format the card as well. That'll erase all data that is currently recorded via the dash cam. You can do a factory reset and you can check the firmware version right here. Now the cool thing about this system is I love the integration of these little buttons to the side here. So you've got quick access to your camera. If you want to see what it's looking at, we could go back home. You can check out the sound here and quickly toggle it up or down. You can play with the brightness just by clicking the brightness button there. Right now it's on auto. You can click it off and do manual. We're gonna keep it on auto. And of course you've just got the home button right here. All right, so I haven't paired my phone yet. So let's go ahead and pair it to this device and see how quick it is. So if we tap Android Auto, it shows you how to pair it. So we need to go into our Bluetooth. We find Carpuride. I just clicked pairing. And I'm gonna hit pair.
Wi-Fi disconnected.
Then I'm gonna hit OK, continue. And we're in. So that was pretty quick. And I mean, Android Auto, it's the same on every device, so I'm not really going to explain it too much, but I have enabled the other split screen mode so you guys can actually see that we can enable the camera and the maps at the same time. And if I hit this button over here, I can also access my quick button features, so we could go to the home, go to the camera, play with brightness and play with sound. So when it comes to audio, if we go into here, there's actually 4 different ways we can do audio. So as I said before, we've got 2 8-watt speakers built in and they can give us audio and you'll be able to hear phone calls, music, things like that. We can also go Bluetooth audio. By doing Bluetooth audio, it connects to the original car speaker, and through this, you can actually play your music through the car speakers using Bluetooth, which I think is pretty cool. Now, if we go to FM, you can actually choose your radio station and you can actually play it through the car speakers. Now, this is only available using the stock 12-volt cigarette cable because it's kind of like a radio antenna built into it in a way. I'm not sure I'm going to be using this. I'm actually planning on hardwiring this, but it's a pretty cool piece of kit. And then of course you have your regular auxiliary. So I showed you guys the auxiliary cable at the start. You just go from this to your car head unit and you'll be able to play through the speakers that way. And of course, this is the best audio quality out of the 4. Now, what really sold me on this unit is the built-in dash cam at the back here. So you can see I can pull it up. Not only can I pull it up, it has 350 degrees worth of swivel on it. So I can go set it up as an in-cabin camera if I wanted to, or have it as a regular dash cam with plenty of swivel on it. Not only that, but the camera can swivel down and up. And even the lens, you can actually swivel it side to side, down or up. So plenty of adjustment in it. Now, as a dash cam, it's actually got a wide field of range, 170 degrees to be exact. It's also 1080p footage, but you can get up to 4K if you really want that. Not only that, we have dual cameras, right? So if you have the reverse camera in, once you put the car into reverse, the reverse actually shows up on screen. So you can actually see what you're doing and what is behind you, which is a great safety feature. It also has night vision, as well as loop recording. Now, the only thing left to test is the dash cam, so we're actually gonna take it out on road. I am curious because it doesn't have inbuilt stabilization, and I don't know how well the footage is at picking up all of those minor details like license plate numbers or street signs and things like that. So let's go and put it to the test, and we'll also do a night vision ride as well. So 1080p day drive, honestly, I'm not too impressed with the dash cam. When driving, there's zero built-in stabilization, so the terrible bitrate is really noticeable. And when you have so much movement, it creates pixelated motion blur. A combination of zero stabilization paired with the movement of the cars makes it impossible to read number plates. Stationary cars were a lot easier to read that were close to us. However, across the road, it was completely unreadable. Now, 4K daytime, the cars approaching me was still unreadable depending on their speed. Faster is blurrier, slower is not too bad. Now, parked cars that are close are much more detailed and easier to read, whereas cars parked on the opposite side of the road are still unreadable. 1080p nighttime, no cars approaching are readable. Cars stationary to the side are also unreadable. The only time I was able to read a number plate was stationary at a set of lights right behind a car. Even then, if you look to the car at the right, it seems that the lens is fisheye and it warps out of focus to the sides, which explains why I may not be able to read plates on opposite sides of the road. Our 4K night ride was a little better. I was slightly able to make out the number plate of a moving vehicle in front of me, but again, parked cars across the road were impossible. And I even struggled with parked cars on my side of the road. I was only able to read cars traveling at my speed who were close. The stabilization and bitrate is a real big issue from my perspective, and something that should be addressed if people were to take the dashcam portion of this device seriously. Thanks for watching.